Okay. Hi, YouTube. Hi, YouTube. Okay, we're YouTubing it. Great. My friend was sending me a bunch of pictures, and I was like, these are unique pictures. 10 pictures, and they were going somewhere, so I was in suspense. Nice. All right. What was I doing? Oh, I don't have throws running. Scammed, by the way. I'll fix it. It was all to a 6-7 joke. I saw a Northernlion clip the other day that was like that. It was like, Northernlion, like one of his chatters is like, well, you should just have a second kid. And he's like, I'm not going to just have a second kid on the advice of Twitch chat. Like, you don't have any kids. Like, who are you to be giving advice like this? And and he's like, I can check your chat history. And then the chatter was like, yeah, I have 2 kids, age 6 and age 7. Or ages 6 and 7. At this point, I'm not throwing to throw. I'm throwing to see him dishonored or not. God damn it. I mean, fair, but also, damn. Ah. It works. It works. There you go. Let's just hope, like, I don't have anything terrible going on. I don't know if... Whatever. You guys know my real name. You probably don't know my real name. It doesn't really matter. Okay. Well, first name, not last name. Let's capture Visual Studio Code. And let's capture to Godot. And I can show you where we're at and where we're heading. And then I need to automate the crap out of this. Bro, why did I thought that the lights on the building most to the right was a ninja or something? The one on top? Oh, I can maybe see it. Kinda. Sorta. All right. I'll show you Godot first, and then we'll actually get into the code. So don't dox me, Godot. So this is Godot. If you're not familiar with it, Godot is a phenomenal game engine. It is free and open source, and I cannot recommend it highly enough. I am writing in C#. If you are interested in picking up Godot for yourself, know that Godot also has a phenomenal scripting language built into it called GDScript. And it's very full-featured. I'm going to be writing in C# though, because that's my wheelhouse, and I'm more comfortable in C#, and there's a bunch of tools that are in C# that I really like using. So I'm reading Fun Deranged Yuri right now. Let's frickin' go. All right. So in theory, assuming the game's compiling right now, this is where we're at. Nothing's showing on screen. Okay, that's like halfway there. Why is it not capturing? That's annoying. All right, well, we'll just mess with this, I guess. Maybe I'll have like 2 of these or something. Paste duplicate. Okay, and then this one I can just set to be, well, I guess it's gonna have to be game capture. We'll mess with it, chat. Cookie clicker, yeah, basically. I literally copied the cookie clicker names because this is just like all like, this is just me setting up the systems to make this work. This is not cookie clicker, or this won't be cookie clicker, but this is where we're starting from tonight. Hi Makoto, good to see you. So this is where we're starting from, chat. It's Soda Popper, perfect. I don't know how much else to say. I think we're just gonna kind of get into it, but if you want to ask questions, go for it. No, that's a streamer. That is me. I am the streamer. Okay. Anyways, so nice cost. This is where we're at right now, and we're getting there. Didn't get the joke, Sag. I'm so sorry, Angren. Okay, so let me turn off this on this one, and then in theory, I can... Why are you like this? What happens if I turn off client area? Nope. I don't want to use monitor capture. So I'm like trying to figure out how to get around it. This is a pain in the ass. Because Godot technically, like, you guys can't see it right now. But there's technically, like, yeah, look at this. Like, there's an entire window behind it. And so, like, what you were seeing there was this, like, a game view. I guess that's fine. So that way, like, when I press the game, like, run the game, you guys will see the game full screen. Anyways. I'm going to be honest with you, though, chat. This is going to be mostly a code stream because that is kind of where we're at right now. There's a refactor I was in the middle of that I might put off because I'm streaming and I don't think it'll be very interesting. But equally, I might just do it anyways because we're just going to probably be chatting anyways. So, do I have VS Code already as a source? No, of course I don't. Okay. Oh, this is already showed. It says visible. Please don't. Okay. Code.exe. And we'll just... Cool. Great. Ah, dark magic. Yeah. So, I hope you guys are having a great night. If you have any questions about anything I'm doing, please ask them. I love talking about what I do for a living. Granted, what I do isn't technically make games, but it's making... I've heard them referred to as serious games because they're just simulators and stuff, which under the hood are just games. They're just games that are used for training people and stuff. So, yeah. This is all the scripts currently in the project. It's not that big yet. Especially, like, consider that a lot of these scripts are, like, 10 lines long. So we have a lot of room to go, and that's perfectly fine. So I guess I should, like, outline what the game kind of is in my head right now. In theory, like, I'm going to be working on this with a couple coworkers and stuff, too. But we'll see how that goes. So, maybe I should, like, set a goal for tonight and we can work towards it. I have a bunch of warnings right now because I turned on a feature that turned on... Here, let me show you something.
I'm
Zaris! I'm here to criticize your coding.
/S.
Welcome in, Zaris. And thank you for the 48 months. Good Lord, that is 4 years. Thank you so much, Zaris. I appreciate you. Okay, so let me show you something. I only recently learned out about this setting. This is called the nullable reference types feature. I like to call it the feature that makes your program full of warnings. 4 years of undrinkable soda. Never mind. Anyways, so basically this turns on a bunch of things that, like, make it so your code is better. Like the compiler warns you that you're doing something that could cause a problem. Hi, War. Good to see you. You're like one of those confections or whatever that are too cute to eat. Thank you, Sarahs. Hi, Tonberry. Thank you for the reminder to turn closed captioning on. I'm hoping it's still working. It has malfunctioned in the past. I know Twitch has closed captioning built in now or something. I don't know. I don't know how that works. But anyways, let me know if it's not working because I will try and fix it. So... You know what we need, chat? We need paint.net. Which is also feeding your content to AI generative stuff. Yeah, isn't that great? I did turn it off, but I don't really trust them. I get the feeling that they're going to be like, oh, oops, we actually feeding it to it anyways. That was just for, like, the one thing, you know, and the rest of this, not so much. Sorry, bud. Anyways, let me... I just embed these in the window? No? Okay. So, surprise vibe, goddamn. Okay, let me also add a capture for the old paint.net. This window is flash banging me right now. Paint.net. Arigato. All right, so can you guys see me draw? What is the point if you guys can't see me? All right, hold on. Anything? No. Okay. Let's try game capture. How about that? This stream is just gonna be me figuring things out. I would like to do more of these in the future if you guys enjoy them. Because like, I like doing game dev. B, I think they're a great opportunity to just chat and show you guys progress in the game as it comes along. And B, I think I'm on B. I also like need to make more time to work on this, and I keep finding it hard to find like dedicated time to actually work on this project, and that's killing me inside. So if I can kind of do double duty and do streaming and the game development at the same time, then to me that seems like a winning combination, I think. Hey, all right, cool. So currently the game idea is pretty simple, I would say. Can I get a hexagon? Can I get a bestagon? 5, 6. All right. So currently the idea is, actually, let's do a new layer. I like how that like turned off the capture for a second. That's powerful. Well, long story short, you're gonna have like a settlement or whatever, right? It's gonna be a bunch of hexagons, and it is sort of like a fusion between like an idle game and like a tower defense. And the original idea, that is very subject to change, is basically you have this tower. It's co-op if you want it to be, but you can also play solo. I'll explain how the co-op works later. Probably not right now. The co-op is a ways away, but I have a lot of experience in networking, so I kind of know what I'm doing. Anyways, basically you'll have a tower, okay, and as you build stuff, you'll also be increasing the size of your tower, right? And you'll be like adding on layers to your tower. So, you know, like maybe you'll build like houses and whatever, right? Or maybe you'll build like factories or barracks or whatever, like Age of Empires style, you know, with like the little like bow and arrow, you know, training things or whatever. Wonderful illustration by yours truly here. Anyways, you'll build up stuff. These will get you resources, which will let you build more stuff. And then after a predetermined amount of time, TBD, it's probably going to be like a day or something, like a real world day, but it might be a real world hour. There's a lot of like room for experimentation and prototyping here. Long story short, after a predetermined amount of time, your tower will come under attack, and, you know, critters will attack the tower. And it'll, you know, whatever buildings you built and synergies you set up and upgrades you have and so on will kind of determine what the tower does. And you'll get to watch it play out. And then it'll start like a new cycle or whatever, where you'll get to continue adding on to it. Maybe indefinitely. Haven't decided. Thank you for the 50 stream streak. Oh my God, Makoto. Thank you so much. So, TLDR. Idle game, right? You build stuff, you build it up, you set up synergies. All of your buildings both produce like resources, but also defenses. Can I draw a sword in like 2 seconds? It's more of a dagger, but you know, whatever. And then your tower has to defend itself against oncoming foes, and then you continue on. So that's the game idea in a nutshell. Right now, in case you guys missed it at the start of the stream, I've just been kind of setting up the idle game portion of it. Hopefully this will load in a second. Come on. Bah humbug. What happens if I just switch this to game capture? Make source visible, not quite yet, thanks. All right, capture specific window. Godot. I guess that works. Whatever. So right now, really basic idle game. I literally just copied the building names from Cookie Clicker because I really like Cookie Clicker. We got a long ways to go, chat. But that's kind of the fun of game dev, right? You make stuff. And yeah, I've also been using this kind of as an opportunity to kind of expand and explore some different tools and stuff. A big thing for me has been this thing called unit testing. I've talked about it before on stream. I won't bore you with the details, but if you want to ask, you're more than welcome to. Long story short, you write tests for your code. I'm not streaming. Oh god, this is gonna be a pain in the ass. Okay, remind me to like automate this later, chat. Long story short, though, you write tests for your code, and then you write the code to pass the tests. And you refactor the tests too. It's not like it's like, oh, you lock these down in concrete and you never touch them. But that way you get these tests that then kind of make sure that your program is doing what it's supposed to do. And it also like really helps you catch like early errors and stuff. So yeah. Saraba,
Noted.
thank you for the 53 months. I really appreciate it. It's really good to see you. So the thing I've currently been working on is an implementation of the tile map that I kind of showed in Paint.net a second ago. I am really gonna have to figure out how to streamline this because this is gonna kill me. But like, we need a way to actually like place these buildings. I also could work on kind of the upgrade system that lets you like upgrade these tiles and so on. I'm kind of torn on which to work on first. I think it makes more sense for me to work on the map system first. So we're probably gonna work on that, and then we'll come back and we'll work on the upgrades later. I'm trying to design everything kind of compartmentalized as much as possible because I think that's how you write better code. Code that'll kind of like be less buggy and, you know, easier to work with, etc., etc. Unfortunately, because I turned on this nullable flag, we have about 10 billion errors, or warnings rather. And I need to do a refactor and fix all of these. However, that's probably not going to happen tonight, unfortunately. So we'll come back to this, but just know that I don't like leaving 100 warnings in my project. This is a nightmare to me, but I don't want to bore you guys by just, oh, you know, all stream, here's what I'm going to be doing, okay, chat? Question mark. That's the stream. No. Gotta tangle the code, make it as arcane as possible. Oh. Well, by that metric, the code at my current work is A+. Not my code that I've written for this job, but the code that was there when I got here. Anyways. And hello, Hat. Thank you very much, Sarapa. So, good golly. We got a lot of work to do. We need to add more ternary conditionals. I like ternary statements. Sometimes. They're useful. I'm a ternary engineer. Ah! I'm awake. I'm awake, I promise. Okay. Git pipes. So. Where were we? Where was I with all this? To do. Thanks, past me. To do. Do the thing. Where the hell is this referenced? Oh, here. Oh, it's referenced there as well. I guess this is fine. I don't know if we're ever gonna have anything but hexagon maps. because hexagons neatly pack into bigger hexagons, if you didn't know. So we're probably just gonna leave this as probably a mistake to have this here if we're not gonna use it, but I think I already wrote a test for this. No. Okay, so there's another resource that I'm probably gonna be using here and there. Oh god, I don't really like Opera. I think it's a bad browser that is like a data farmer, but I have used it for research before in Godot because like it's just nice having a separate browser for stream stuff. Although I think I'm ironically logged into my Google account anyway, so who cares? Let's do... Isn't there like a web browser built into VS Code? Is this a mistake? Absolutely. Nah, okay. So there's a resource I've been pulling a lot from for this. And fortunately, they also provided some code, which I have integrated into the project already. And that is Red Blob Games, who I want to say made... You know what? Let me not talk out of my bum here. Let me make sure that I'm right on this. I think Red Blob Games made did they make Realm of the Mad God? Am I crazy? I am crazy. I'm so sorry. They made a game called Blob City? Oh no, they did work. They worked on Realm of the Mad God. Okay, but they're not associated directly with it now. Got it. Okay. Very cool. If you guys haven't seen this website and you're interested in game dev stuff, they have a lot of really neat resources, which I will link, and I will link in the YouTube chat too, because why not? Okay, anyways, back to it. So they created a very useful resource, which is basically, they have an entire article on hexagonal map and math and so on. And so they also provided basically kind of like a sample bit of code that has kind of the integration, and it is licensed under CC0, which is amazing, and I love them for that. So, without further ado, I am curious, is this already... okay. So, something that they mention in the article is how many hexagons you get by generating like a hexagonal, this is going to kill me, a hexagonal map that is X tiles wide or whatever. And that would be kind of a useful unit test for this, if I'm honest. Oh, 1 second, chat. Let me just find this damn thing. How are you all doing, chat, on this lovely Thursday? Thursday's a decent day. It's probably my least favorite day of the week, if I'm honest, but it's not a bad day. That's distance. That's like what I want. All right. Meh. We'll just carry on for now. Oh, I can't resist. Okay, I found it. It's 1 plus 3n times n plus 1. Okay, works for me. Is that right? I guess that's right. All right. So we're going to go to map generator tests. There we go. Okay. I think right now I'm only using width, which is kind of fine, to be fair. I'm kind of like, both circles and squares have one size that is defined, so maybe I don't even need height, but that's a subject for another time. All right. Okay. Assert. Nice. So what we're just kind of doing here is just making sure that we are generating the correct number of tiles. We'll make a helper function. What was it? It was 1 plus 3 times radius plus 1. Cool. Why are you airing out? Oh. Oops. All right. And then what we can do is we just run all the tests. And something is already failing. Oh. This requires good runtime, I think. I think that's the problem. Ah, okay. Oh, never mind, it passed. That's great, actually. Actually, can I just... Cool. Then I don't need this anymore. Okay, sorry about that. We're gonna slowly refactor the code base to account for this silly nullable thing. It's just, I'm not gonna like go through and do all of it at once because I don't, again, it's not really the goal of the stream right now. Let's do another map equals generator dot generate, and we'll do a new map generation config, and we'll just do 1 hexagon. Does he want a funny story? I love funny stories. What's up? Hi, War. Noted. Hell yeah. Again, if at any point you guys want, like, I don't need to do that. Basically, any kind of, like, I don't know, info on what I'm doing, by all means. All right. My AC just went vrr, and the air is now warm. Oh no. Surely my AC didn't blow up for the 3rd time this month. They're just gonna have to replace it at this point. That's insane. I hate that. I'm so sorry, Fuzzy. It's like they say Wordle and 4 pee on the... What? Who says that? Why would they say that? All right. This is good. As good as it's gonna get for now. Obviously, like, later on, this map generation also needs to insert different tile types and stuff. Does it? Maybe I can get away with not doing that. I'm in a Discord where one person started saying that and eventually it became for every number. Perfect. Perfect. I used to play Wordle religiously, and by that I mean like every day. And by recently, I mean up until a couple months ago, and that's only because I started playing Minute Cryptic instead. I don't know how I feel about that. Anyways, Wordle and 2 pee on the floor. Why? God damn. So let's just start by I guess we're just gonna set this to null. So we want this to be able to store null. Gut says this shouldn't store null. Gut says this should store like a default value. So it's gonna be kind of annoying. We'll manage. We'll manage, chat. All right, we're going back to Godot for a second. Let's go to my resources folder. Let's do map tiles. Actually, I guess it's like tile resources. Or just tiles. Let's just do tiles. That's good. All right, create new resource. I don't think this is gonna stream, which is really annoying. Nice. And then we will save this as default tile. I don't know, it'll just be grass or something. I don't know. So now we have this fancy new data object that represents a grass tile. I'm just gonna end up having to do monitor capture, aren't I? Oh well, we'll get there. So now I want to load. So I'm also got the Kenny assets in this. So if you notice, like, this funny windmill I have, I just kind of like was using this as a test object. This is a asset from the Kenny assets, which are also, I think they're CC0. They might be CC attribution. Either way, they're free. And I cannot recommend them highly enough if you like doing any kind of game dev stuff. I think like his terms of use are like, don't use it to train AI, which I think that's just great. I'm a fan of not using things to train AI. Let's just default to grass, I guess. Does that sounds reasonable, right, Sean? All right, we're gonna open up default tile here, and I'm just gonna drag grass into there. Ta-da! All right, that's our default tile now, chat. I don't know what having an icon for this is going to do for me, and I'm not sure why I defined that. What was I thinking when I wrote that? Nope, it's gone. All right, tile name is just gonna be grass, which means I probably should just rename this to be grass, I guess. All right. Okie dokie. So now what? Okay, so we probably should set up a matching tile resource, or like a matching like tile scene, I guess. Making architecture decisions on the fly. Don't mind if I do. So let's do another one. We'll make a tiles folder under scenes. Okay. And then under tiles, we'll make a new scene. And we'll make it a 3D scene, and we will call it grass tile dot t scene. Okie dokie. Go. Probably will attach a script to this later. Not going to worry about it right now. So now we just will grab this grass model, drop it in there, and there we go. That's voila. Fancy. So now with our new grass model. So let me let you in on a secret, chat. So this game is intended to have a... we'll call it a server component. I did mention that it was probably going to be co-op. So how technical should I get with this? We'll go for like lightly technical, which is going to end up very technical because that's the way my brain works, but just bear with me, all right? So my current thinking is we're going to have this server. It's basically going to be like a web server. And the web server is going to have a... basically, it's going to have a snapshot of the most recent by a player in the session, most recent change. And then from there, it can derive what the current state of the game is by the amount of time passed. The reason that this is good is it means that the server doesn't need to like constantly be updating everything. The server can just kind of like hang out, and then when a client is like, "Hey, what's the game supposed to be doing right now?" I just reconnected after like, you know, being closed for 12 hours. The server can just be like, "I got you, fam." So, because of this, I don't want to run Godot on the server. This is the trick. If I run Godot on the server, it's going to waste a bunch of resources because I don't need Godot's functionality to run the game logic. Not to say the game logic is like simple per se, but it doesn't really have any of the sort of physics or other real-time elements that I would really need the Godot engine for. This can basically be like a bare bones ass, like, I don't know. I'm probably going to write it in C#, so it's probably going to be like ASP.NET or something. I don't have a lot of familiarity in that sort of wheelhouse, but we're going to fix that eventually. So, instead, I'm kind of thinking we just, therefore, we'll separate out as much of the gameplay logic as we can. I cannot type tonight. So if you'll notice, like a lot of my code, I'm just gonna drag this off screen for now. Served its purpose. You'll notice that a lot of my code, if you've been looking really carefully, which you probably haven't, and not that I blame you for that, most of my code is not very dependent on Godot logic. Ignore that. That's not my code. That's part of one of the tools that I'm using. And the reason for that is exactly what I just described. I want to be able to run most of this code on a server without having to load Word. I just read the word Wordle and my brain said Wordle. Without having to load Godot. So I also, therefore, need to be really careful about how I tie up resources together. So that makes me come back to this. This should not be a tile resource. All right, we've come full circle. This should not be a tile resource. This should probably be a string, which is to say just like text. That is just an identifier that we can then look up the tile resource when we try to spawn a visual in for the tile. We got there, chat. It only took us a million years. All right. This actually has 0 references right now, which is phenomenal news for me because it means all I need to do is string tile ID get set. And this probably should just be a getter. Cool. And now instead of tile resource, this is going to be tile ID, and then we will do tile equals tile ID. Okay. Why is this complaining? Oh, can I just required? Does that work? Oh, I see. It doesn't really work. Okay. Location equals hex.0. I think I set that up. I didn't set that up. Hex 0. I can't remember if this matters for memory management, but I'm just gonna be careful because this is something that could come up a lot. So, the public. Let's see. Private static x read only x 0 equals new hex 0 0. Okay. This kind of represents the center of the map, and it's just useful to be able to be like, oh, I have a 0 point. Cool. Done. And then we'll set tile ID to grass. So now if we ever make one of these default, like for whatever reason, there's a lot of reasons that these just will get generated by default code. Now we at least have something that is sort of valid. I won't call this particularly valid. Really, this probably should just always require a location, but I digress. Cool. All right. I also would just like to say I am happy that we're able to just kind of slowly work through the nullable stuff, because I'm realizing it's a lot more fun than like having to solve it all at once. Oh, go add a bunch of question marks to your code, dummy. Thanks. Much appreciated. All right. Always comment your code, chat. Or don't. I mean, I'm not your parent. I'm not your mother. Okay, so. This is one of our next big goals here, is the Hex Grid visual spawner, which does exactly what it says on the tin. I will hope that you also write code that does exactly what it says on the tin. It makes working with your code a lot better, because otherwise I might have forgot what this was supposed to do because I wrote this. Anyways, once this is done, what this will do is it will take a map, right? And then it will spawn all of the tiles for that map. And then it will do one more thing, which is clever. It's a surprise tool that will help us later. This will also basically exist in the scene somewhere. That's why it inherits from Node 3D. In order to exist in this sort of hierarchy over here, things need to inherit from Node. So it's going to inherit from Node, and then anytime the map sort of dictionary or array or whatever kind of container it is, whenever that changes, it will update the relevant tile. I feel like I have like multiple things going on here because this is basically what map 3D spawner is. So I think I doubled up some code. I think what happened is like I wrote this on a bathroom break at work or something and didn't realize that I already started something. Though I actually think I might like the name I gave the new one better. Xgrid visual spawner. I guess 3D spawner is a little bit simpler and more concise. So we'll probably just keep this one. All right. Gaming chat. Gaming. Now. This needs to be nullable. Can map be nullable? I guess map has to be nullable. Okay. So, let's do a little bit of cleanup here. Yoink. Hello, Jade. Gotta follow Godot convention and call it Map Spawner 3D. I want to disagree with you, but you're entirely correct, and I'm angry, and now my life is ruined. No, I'm kidding. Thanks, Jade. Good to see you. Yeah, I guess this works, because even if I have a map spawner 2D later for, like, let's say a mini map or something. Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, to be fair, I could have called that map 2D spawner, but there's no reason to diverge from Godot's naming convention. So you're too right. And now I need to also rename the file. And thankfully, I don't have this in any scenes that I'm... Ow! Hello, Burger Text. I don't have this in any scenes that I'm aware of, so that shouldn't cause any problems. Okay. This is irrelevant now. So we are just going to kill it with fire. Damn it. I always forget the, nice. The keyboard shortcuts for VS Code. I usually use Visual Studio at work. I like VS Code a lot because it's really lightweight. I can have this on like my Chromebook and it runs phenomenally and my mouse is dying. Why is my mouse dying? Stop that. Anyways. However, it does use a different set of keyboard shortcuts from regular Visual Studio. So I always end up like, here's an example. So in regular Visual Studio, if I hit Alt plus up, it selects the next line up in addition to my current line. And I can do that in VS Code. See, like Control plus Alt does that. See? So now like I have like these multiple cursors, and that's really useful in like a whole bunch of different scenarios. Not for typing gibberish, but I mean, I guess it's useful for typing gibberish, but why are you wanting to type gibberish? However, if I just do the same keyboard shortcut as Visual Studio in Visual Studio Code, aka VS Code, it moves it instead. And if I do like Shift Alt, it just duplicates it. Again, phenomenally useful. Just throws me a curveball every time. That's life, though. Anyways, it's good to learn new things. That's the way I look at it. So, I like this a lot better with a string. This is so much better. Man, Jade coming in with the sniping on the naming convention failure. Appreciate that. Okay, so where were we? Map 3D spawner. Nope. Cool. So we've got our map spawner 3D. Needs to get initialized with a map. And then it will subscribe to all these events. We need tests for this. Do I already have a test class for this? Negative. Okay. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's make a test class and move it into the right place. Map, spawner, 3D tests. Make this a test suite. And unfortunately, because this is a Node 3D and this is to do directly with game logic, it means it requires Godot runtime. Okay. Now, I would like to make a note about the test thing that I'm using. It's called GD Unit 4. It's phenomenal. I love it to bits. Having unit testing is phenomenal, and I cannot recommend it highly enough. I think test-driven development is really fun. However, it has this really weird limitation that I haven't figured out a way around, which you can generate code coverage reports, which basically tell you how much of your code is tested, which is great. I just failed to build. God damn it. Okay, this needs to be... You know what? We're making another overload. Okay, and then this one we'll just take the other one, and we're just gonna pass in location and... Can I have const strings? Yes, okay. I don't know why I couldn't remember that for a second. Debating on if these shouldn't be strings. Probably should be an enum. But I kind of like the simplicity of them being strings. Oh, add break. All right, chat. I tell you what, I'll go bio. See you guys in a second. Okay. Hi, chat. Blah, 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 blah. I made myself some tea. It is from a bag. If Jade's still here, I know she would probably mock me for that. However, sometimes you just want to have a quick cup of tea. Okay, so I'm making a decision, an executive decision, as the game developer working on this. This is not gonna be an enum. I think, as much as I kind of hate string lookups, I don't want to have to like go back and update this with enum values, and like, I don't know. I think strings can be fine as long as you're really careful. Basically, it's the question of, do I want the compiler to check my work? Strings force nothing. Whereas enums would force the compiler to make sure that I put a default or a valid value into all of these. However, it also means that I'm like locked down into continually expanding that enum. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm good. I'm good. I don't even know if we're gonna have multiple terrain types right now. I'm just kind of like trying to set up the systems to be, I won't say totally generic because they're not. I want them to be just flexible enough that I can like do all the things that I'm kind of picturing in my head to try them out. Because it's not a very long list. Anyways, this cannot be const because const field requires a value to be provided. Oh, wait, hold on. Never mind, it can be const. All right. Cool. Do we build? Drumroll, please. 56 errors, 0 warnings. Slowly clearing up the warnings too. I feel like we already got like 20 of them this stream, despite not being what we're trying to do. Now we can run our test coverage. Love enums, always using enums. Enums are phenomenal. I mean, I'm an enum enjoyer. I'm just kind of like, for something that might be kind of extensible, like something that might end up doing a bunch of stuff, I'm kind of like, how do I put this? Something that I want to be data driven, right? I want to be able to just like slap a bunch of these together in the editor and call it a day. What's the use case here? So this describes what tile type this map tile is. So like the default is just grass for now. But in the future, maybe it would be like river or something, or bridge, or hell, in the future, maybe this could be expanded, right? And I don't really want to have to deal with sort of the hard typing that enums kind of come with. I think it could be valuable. I'm a little kind of indecisive on this, if I'm honest with you, but I just kind of want to pick one and go with it for now. I don't think it's going to break too much to change these to enums later. So I'm like, going with strings might be a bad decision, but since they're going to be defined in the editor anyways, for the most part, probably fine to just leave them strings. I can have a sanity check for them later. A default tile name. All right, so back to my complaints about GD4 or GD Unit 4. Pardon. I love this library. I love unit tests. I think they're phenomenal. However, I do have this problem with this, which is that as far as I can tell, this can't generate code coverage, which is to say like how much of your code is actually being tested by your unit tests. Sort of, it's an estimation, but it can't actually generate that for anything that is a Godot type. So like control or node 3D or button or whatever. T's done. Well done steeping. Anyways, so full annoying. I haven't quite figured out a way around it. I tried a bunch of stuff troubleshooting it and could not come to a satisfying conclusion. Tried a lot of Googling. Just nothing. Anyways, back to it. God, while I'm here, I'm so tempted to fix these nullable errors or warnings. But one thing at a time. So, where were we? Actually, can I test something really fast, chat? Exclamation mark song. Damn, I was really hoping that would just kind of work. I thought I had it enabled, but I do not prefer to have it working, so that's annoying. Wait, I connected my Twitch account, Monster Cat. Huh? All right, well. It says Twitch connected. Hold on, let me try this again. What? Stop the music. Don't stop the music. Son of a... Hold on, chat. Sorry for the interruption. Okay, we're trying that again. I just typoed my goddamn username. How the hell did I do that? Okay, authenticator code. Ba. Oh my god. Oh my god. All right. Done. Authorize. Pog. Okay. We're gonna try song one more time. Probably isn't gonna work. Well, it might help if I like had something playing, wouldn't it? What the heck track was playing anyways? Yeah, I'll just play this one. Seems good. One more try. Thank you, Sound Scout bot. You're my hero. Okay. I really don't like that Monster Cat Monster Cat Gold renamed itself to Sound Scout. It's like, what? Why? They kind of just did it too. Like, I feel like I had Monster Cat Gold up like a week or two ago, and now it's just suddenly Sound Scout. It's like, okay, I guess, sure, whatever. All right. Where was I? All right, there's nothing to test here. There's no testable logic. This is all just like data values. Okay. Map spawner 3D. A lot of code to test here, that's for sure. Okay. God, this is killing me. I really, really wish that I could have code coverage. Anyways, as far as I can tell too, like the issue is just that like to calculate code coverage, the test runner like injects itself partially into like the process or whatever. But because the tests that are marked as require Godot runtime, I'm losing my mind. I wanted to pull one of them up for an example. There, require Godot runtime. Because these actually spin up a Godot process to run your tests, there's some mismatch that happens. And so even though it's a child process, it like doesn't inject properly. And so like I actually have a bunch of stuff here to like, I was trying to debug it. And it don't work. It don't work. So, oops. Anyways, not important. It's important to me is the problem, but it's not actually important. So let's go ahead. Did we already make our test class? Okay, I need to like reorganize my project structure or something because this is like messy as I'll get out. I think the real thing is that I put a bunch of classes and scripts in this like gameplay directory, scripts gameplay, and now they're just kind of loose there. I think at the end of stream, I'm gonna like, or maybe after stream, I'm just gonna like get everything pushed up to get, and then from there, honestly, I think I might just like reorganize things, but I like to like have things pushed up before I reorganize, because otherwise you get like weird things where things like get lost in the, like, you lose history and stuff, which is really annoying. Okay, I'm jabbering. Do I have map spawner 3D tests? I do. This needs to move down to here though, where the other test classes. Cool. And then while I'm at it, I can just, I'm gonna need this. Yep. Cool. All right. Move you to your own script file, aren't you pleased? Okay. Do a little bit of boilerplate. I need to make like a template so I can just like not have to do this every time, but all right. Cool, done. Okay, now here comes the fun part. We actually get to write some tests. So what are we doing? You know what? I honestly, I really appreciate Monstercat's catalog. It's good. It's very good. Or at least it has very good stuff in it. It's not all uniformly good. Okay, actually, I don't know if I love the vocals on this, but I'll have to consider. Anyways. So not a lot of testable logic here. I guess I can like make sure that replace does both. Look at my definition for map here too. Okay, so sorry, I'm just like thinking, chat. I am thinking, I guess we can just make sure that all these are hooked up, basically. Now, ironically, the thing about, God damn it, there I go, doing it again. The thing about unit tests is generally you want to write the tests, and then the code won't pass because there's nothing there. And then after the code fails the test, then you write the test, then you write the code. I realize that's convoluted, and to be honest, you don't have to do it that way. I just think, like, I kind of like the structure of it. In a weird sort of way, I think as much as test-driven development like this adds a little bit of, like, overhead and, like, boilerplate and, like, oh, I just have to write the same thing 50,000 times, I actually think, A, that encourages good habits because it means you don't want to like have to do the same thing over and over again, so you write your code so you don't, which is means you have better code. And two, I think it kind of gamifies it in a weird way, because now it's like, as I've written all of this stuff already, now I have like, it's only like 20 right now, but I have like these 20 tests that I'll pass, and so it's like I get to, every time I make a change to my code base, I get to run my tests and I get to see a bunch of green lights light up. You know what I mean? I don't know, maybe that's silly, but whatever. All right, so map add adds visual. And then we will mark this as test case, require Godot runtime. And then we will just do 2 more of these for remove, removes, and let's do map, replace, adds, and removes. God, that's convoluted. Okay, so in our setup here, privates map equals new. I need a default constructor for this. I'm so sorry. Do I? Do I want a default? No. Why is this not complaining that this isn't nullable? That's weird. Oh, because it's marked as not nullable. I see. Okay, that's fine. IEnumerable. I think there's like an empty. Oh God, what is it? Oh, it's just enumerable.empty. And then I think I need to supply map tile. Nice. Okay. Wow, chat. I wrote a line of code. Are you guys proud of me yet? Anyways. Map. Sorry, this doesn't need to be nullable. Map equals new map. I'm realizing that I have a design decision here to make. If this is a read-only dictionary, then this changes the logic. I don't think this actually should be a read-only dictionary. That's annoying. I think this just has to be a regular dictionary. Hear me out, right? Like if we want to be able to like, let's say like the map expands during gameplay, which is something that I've considered, that like maybe your buddy joins and now the map has to expand to accommodate them. So if that can change, but this shouldn't be read-only. There's a reason. There's like, you know, something to be said for like, oh, I can control all the access and then like write functions so that in order to add tiles to the map, you do this and that and the other. Like I can also just expose the dictionary. This way is, you know what? You know what? We're keeping it this way. And then I think we'll also need some functions to add and remove tiles from the map. I realize we're kind of duplicating the functionality of the dictionary. I don't care. I don't care. We're doing it my way. All right. Should just title this stream, or you know, maybe I'll just title the next game dev stream. Busy slowly goes insane over the course of 3 hours. So my like mental stack here is like 15 items tall and it's falling over. We are writing tests for Map Spawner 3D. Maybe. But in order to do that, we might need to make more map stuff first. So we need a map test class. Okay. We got there, chat. This one does not need the Godot runtime because maps, as I have them set up, are independent of Godot for all the reasons we talked about earlier. So public class map tests. That does not parentheses. Thank you, brain. And then we're just gonna grab all this stuff again. All right. To the new C# class file. Okay. Boop, bop, bibbity. And then we need a before test and after test. We don't actually need them necessarily. I should stop just writing boilerplate until I need it. I am probably gonna want a before test though, so we will add one of those, but public void bef setup. We don't really need a teardown unless we need one, so. Cool. All right. Oh my God, brain. Do you want to work for me there? Okay. We have a map. Map equals new map. I can just do this and then do enumerable dot empty map tile. Cool. This is fascinating because I've never tested. To be honest with you, I haven't done all that much. And I kind of want to fix that because I genuinely like test-driven development. Like, I think it really is a powerful tool that you can use. And I actually find that as much as it slows me down a little bit, right? Because I'm having to write more code, inarguably. It has saved me so much time that I would have had to waste debugging. Especially because, like, the way I like to tackle code problems, or like, not just code problems, the way I like to tackle problems is I like to look at them from like a systems perspective. And so when I'm like implementing new features in a game, I like to approach it by first designing the underlying systems to make that happen. And for that workflow, test-driven development is like a natural thing because it's like, now I can like build all the pieces together, test them as I go, and then mash all the systems together and then test that at the end. So that way, like, otherwise I run into this problem sometimes when I'm working on stuff where like I just like spit out a bunch of code, right? And there's like probably like one or two really insidious little logic errors stuck in there where it's like, oh, I didn't account for this weird edge case. And then I go to test it and it looks like everything's working until months down the road and it's like, oh, this actually explodes if you add an empty string value or whatever. And so I kind of like test-driven development because it lets me like, let me test all the edge cases. Let me test the way this is supposed to work as I'm going. And then that way too, if I ever make any changes to it, you know, I can verify that I didn't break it, that it's doing what it's supposed to be doing. Again, it has downsides. I think the biggest downside I've actually heard is that it, I think it was expressed really eloquently on some Reddit post I saw. It was like, it ossifies your code base. Like it solidifies it and stuff, right? Because you're defining how the functionality works, which means that if you want to change what the functionality does, you also need to update the unit tests because the unit tests will break if you like fundamentally change how something works internally. Well, not how it works internally, like what it's supposed to be doing, right? If you change what it does internally, that shouldn't break anything. That's part of why unit tests are there. I don't know. It's like a whole thing. I just like it. End of the day, I like it because I like it. No, I do have legitimate reasons for liking it, but okay. Where were we? Okay, so I will go ahead and do nothing in setup right now. Teach their own. Absolutely. I don't think you have to have unit tests to have like a good project or something. So I barely use version control Oh, that scares me. That one I would actually be willing to go to bat on. Just because, like, that scares me. But it depends on what the scope of your projects is, I guess. If I'm working on like a game jam project, I probably don't need version control. Could still be useful, but if I'm working on a team, I do though. Yeah, I don't know. Good for thought though. What was I doing? Oh, yeah. Map tests. Okay, so I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't really want to test this. This is just gonna work, and it's going to be tested implicitly by everything we're gonna do in this. So let's go ahead and add some functions, and we'll flesh them out. So let's do an add tile and a remove tile. And these will take in a map tile as an argument. And let's do a map tile as an argument as well. However, I will also make an overload of this that takes in a hex location. Maybe an axial hex. They're equivalent under the hood. Okay. And then in each of these, I'm just going to do a good old-fashioned throw new not implemented exception. Pardon. Cool. So we need to be able to add and remove tiles. For now, I feel like that's probably good enough. I guess we could have like a clear tiles, but that seems kind of weird. Like, when would we ever want to clear the map entirely? I feel like we just generate a new map at that point. Okay. Nuke. Oh god, that's terrifying. Yeah, fair. I think the way I'm picturing it in my head, I don't ever want to nuke map tiles, but I could like want to like do something on each of the map tiles. Like maybe I believe this is going to need to be updated to also like store what like building and is built on it and like what upgrades are held by the tile and stuff like that. So I could see something being useful where it's like run on every map tile, but I don't really need to implement that myself because I'm providing access to this dictionary. So I could just iterate over this. So I think we're good for now. Just adding and removing. So now we're gonna go ahead and start adding tests. God, this logic is like so simple that it almost doesn't need testing. We'll just make a one test class for the, or one test case for this and just move on. This like barely needs testing. I guess we could also add a test case just to make sure. Again, I don't think this is necessary, but starts with tiles added. And this is not a very good named test, but basically it's going to be pretty self-descriptive if you actually look at the code, which will say map equals new map. Let's make an IEnumerable. No, let's make a list of map tiles. Map tiles equals new list of map tiles. Actually, wait. I'll use the fancy new C# syntax that I was exposed to recently. And we'll set one at 0, 0, 0. Oh, wow, that's ugly. Okay, well, we'll fix that in a second. And then we'll make another one. Wait, no. Okay. God, I'm getting lost. Oh, no. Wait. Okay. Figured it out, chat. I know where I am. Okay, this is killing me. Can I just... Thank you. -1. Okay, great. New map of map tiles. Assert ints map dot all tiles dot count is equal map tiles dot count. Cool. Let's do I kind of want to do one more thing, which is like I want to assert if I do map equals new map, and let's like make invalid map tiles as well. This should never happen, and if it happens, the program should explode, like intentionally. But let's make 2 overlapping tiles. I think dictionaries already throw an exception when this happens. I need to double check that. New map of invalid map tiles. Dot. Is instance of? Is this the thing I want? The exception type. Okay. Let's do is instance of. You know what? Let me look at the dictionary reference. I'm so sorry, chat. Dictionary C#. Technically, this is an observable dictionary, though. So maybe I can just look at the source code for it. Let's go. All right. The heck is filtered? Filtered. Oh, interesting. Oh, that's kind of neat. Ooh, remind me to look at that again later, chat. Okay. Anyways. Any throws? Any throws in your chat? No throws. Is it just a dictionary under the hood or something? Ow! I should have expected that. Hi, Fuzzy. Dictionary. Oh, it is just a dictionary under the hood. God damn it. I should have known that. I don't know why I expected anything else. Haha, good one, Fuzzy. I'm proud of you. Can I look at the constructor? Constructors. I want the one that takes an IEnumerable. I love speaking technobabble into words. Argument exception. Great. I probably could have just assumed that, if I'm honest with you, but that's fine. All right, build, please work. Please. Cool. Run tests. I'm expecting this one to actually pass, pardon. My brain is fried, apparently. And this one doesn't have any logic, so of course that one passes. So that's good. So this actually worked. Cool. Cool beans. All right. Now we write the add remove tests. Okay, so. Let's just go ahead and we're gonna add tile. And we'll add a new map tile and it'll be 0, 0. I'm like this close to just making it so I can just specify the coordinates as arguments because oh my god. Okay. Map add tile. Assert that map dot all tiles dot contains, and then I think I want to pass in contains key, I guess. New axial hex 00. And then I need to do is true. Great. And then map dot remove tile, new map tile. Actually, let's do God, I need to get rid of I installed Atlassian's extension to VS Code and it added like these RovoDev things, and I'm like, I don't want to use your crappy LLM. Like, if I was gonna use an LLM, I'd use a good LLM, and yours definitely isn't it, so get out. I don't know. I don't like generating code, period, to be honest with you. I won't say I've never used an LLM for research purposes when it comes to code stuff, because Google has gone to absolute crap. But fundamentally, if all of the current like LLMs that you can use just disappeared tomorrow, I would be happier for it. I think that they're garbage, and I think that they are bad. I think they're fundamentally bad. We love plagiarism machines. Anyways, you don't need to hear me yap about AI. Remove tile, map tile. Assert that this is false. And then we're just gonna add and then remove again. And now we will assert that this is false. Actually, I don't want to do this. I want to do new hex 00. Cool. All right, so this should fail in a second here. There we go. Beautiful. And now we'll just go ahead and fill it out. Then we'll run it again and see what happens. So, thank you. You can go now. I don't remember how to dismiss this. That's really embarrassing. Clear. Hey, okay, cool. All right, so let's just, I think this literally can just be all tiles dot add. I think I want this to exception out. So actually that's another thing I want to test for. And then we'll just do assert that map dot all tiles. No. Assert thrown, I guess. Oh, okay. Sorry. I was just like reading that for a second. Assert thrown. We're gonna run map.add tile again. Dot is instance of arguments exception. Okie dokie. Cool beans. In theory, this will fail earlier now. Actually, it's gonna fail in the same place. All right, add map tile. Is that really it? Am I dumb? Oh, I do need a key. Map tile dot location map tile. Okay, cool. And then remove tile will do the same thing, except instead of add, it's going to be remove. And this one will just remove the map tile. Let me make both these return bools because I'm realizing I get that for free. for free. Because remove. Return something useful. Okay, so this one's gonna remove map tile.location. No. How do I want to do this? Huh, that's a tricky one, isn't it? So, let's do a try get. Map tile dot location out map tile tile. And actually we can just do, well, and map tile equals tile. That needs to be nullable. Then we want to return all tiles dot remove map tile dot location. Otherwise, return false, I think. So if we have the tile at this location and it's the same tile that we passed in, then remove it. Otherwise, we didn't find it, so we can't remove it. Cool, great. Next one. This one can just remove tile dot location. Oh, or just, you know. This also gives me another thing that I need to test for, which is assert that map remove tile dot is true, and then we also can do basically assert that map dot remove tile map tile dot is false. Good enough for me. Okay, go. Tests are running. Oh, crap. Item with the same key has already been added. Wait, that's good though, isn't it? Wait, what? Isn't that good? Line 41. Oh. I hate test-driven development. Personally, I like to push it to production and praise. Valid. Valid, Fuzzy. I am on the opposite end of the coin here. I like test-driven development, personally. Oh, but still failed. Expecting true, but it's false. Wait, why is this false? Well, here we go. Okay. Oh. Wait, what? Oh. Oh, huh? Oh, no, I screwed up. The first test was not supposed to error out. We screwed up somehow. In reality, I built a full animation test suite at work. I hate it with every fiber of my being. I'm curious, what do you hate about test-driven development? But it does yell at people for touching my code? Well, there you go. An item with the same key has already been added. Wow. How? I hate the test suite itself, not test-driven development. I hate animations. Oh, I don't want to look at animations. Okay, honestly, working with animations is always kind of difficult, so I don't blame you. The other thing about animations too is like they always have to be flexible. Like the system underlying them has to be flexible because of how many things people do with animations. So no, I feel you. I feel you. Why no work? Is it because of this? Oh, god damn it. The bug was the tests. I just want to work on race car games so I can read bugs like if you turn the car at 90 degrees, hold gas and brake and hit the seam between two walls, you get launched into orbit at... Hold on, this is important. $82,354,213,412 kilometers per hour. All right, our test pass. Good job, us. Always fun when you have a test that fails, and the problem is the test itself, but that's just part of the fun. Anyways, cool, job done. Okay. We have done almost nothing, but we haven't done nothing. Now that we know that this works, let's get back to the other thing we were wanting to add tests for, which is Map Spawner 3D. So, cool. Bugs I'm running into right now are just like physics oscillating. Fair. My systems always basically just work. Hey, hey. Hell yeah. That's fair. No, I remember I ran into some like really insidious bugs with some of like this code. Like I have like this code that calculates how much income you should be generating from a given building or whatever. And I remember there was like some bug I had in this in the first version that like the unit test helped me catch of like it wasn't updating correctly for like the building counts or whatever. And or no, it was like I reworked something so that building counts were like involved in the data structure or something, and then like this unit test like caught the error that I had made, and then I just went back and updated it. I won't be speaking so confidently when I get back to the city game. You know what? That's fair too. That's fair. That is entirely fair. You know what I was playing recently, actually? So Rory, for my birthday, one of the things she got me was an Analog Pocket, which if you don't know is a... I want to say it's like a chip-for-chip recreation of like a Game Boy Advance. And it also feels amazing. Like it's a great quality product. I don't have that many Game Boy Advance games anymore, but I do have 3 of them. I have Pokemon Sapphire. I have Final Fantasy Tactics Advance. Thank God I have that, because oh my God, that game is a nostalgia trip. I started playing it. Wow, that game is good. Flawed, but good. And more to the point, so I'd stop tangenting quite as hard, because that was a tangent on a tangent. I have SimCity 2000 for the Game Boy Advance. And I won't say it's perfect, because I don't think it is. But it is pretty fun. It is pretty fun. I was surprised. I played like a couple of goes. I kept like starting it. Happy late birthday. Thank you, Jade. I was gonna do a birthday stream. Like a belated birthday stream, but a birthday stream. Next week. Anyways. Long story short. Game's good. It's fun. It's very punishing. And not all of its mechanics are particularly well explained. So like, also because it's on Game Boy Advance 3 weeks late, oh, you know it. I mean, in fairness, she was at my house for the last couple weeks, and I didn't really want to do this birthday stream with her like here. Like, I wanted to collab if we were streaming for the most part, since we don't really get the opportunity to do that as much in person. So it'd be like that, but whatever. Whatever. You know how it goes. I mean, maybe you don't, but you could probably imagine. Anyways. Game's feedback is a little bit confusing. Like, it mostly tells you what your citizens are wanting, but sometimes it's like, residents want more roads and trains, and it's like, okay, what are the underlying rules for this? Like, because I can just build more roads, but I don't think that's what they want. Like, I'm sure that they want roads that are maybe adjacent to dense districts. I don't know. I had a run that got pretty far. Because the game by default starts at year 1900 and then slowly advances to, I think 2050 or something is the last tech upgrade. And I think I made it to like the 1950s. But like I had kept growing my city slowly, and I never feel like I have like a wealth of money in that game, like a wealth of income. And I ended up running into the situation where like I wasn't sure what it was asking from me. It was just like, residents demand more roads and rail. And I'm like, that's good. I love to build more roads and rail. How does the system work? And eventually they just started rioting and burned the whole city down. I'm like, I guess this is fine. In retrospect, I like the chirper in City Skylines. Chaotic, useless information being your only interaction with constituents is fun and realistic. You know what? That's a pretty legit point, actually. I don't necessarily disagree. I really liked playing City Skylines. Honestly, playing SimCity 2000 on the Game Boy Advance, really made me want to play City Skylines again. Or like, there's another city builder that came out not that long ago, I think, right? Sometime in the last year or two. Good stuff. Good stuff. Bah. What was I doing? Okay, I don't need this open. You know, maybe I should like actually use this bar for what I should be using it for, which is like, I don't need that open. I don't need that open. I don't need that open. I barely need that open. I guess I could keep this open for now. We'll close it too. Cool. If you make a city game, Jade, will you render everyone's teeth? Thanks in advance. Somehow I feel like that's throwing shade at GTA 6, and I'm not exactly sure how, but I get the vibe. Anyways. Oh, is there another ad break starting? Please stop. Snooze. I can't snooze it. It's too late. Okay, well, I hope people aren't trapped behind the ad wall. I hate Twitch sometimes, man. I feel like I'm Skylines out since it's basically just a model builder. Yeah, that's fair. My plan game is way more policy involved with simpler building. Okay, that's fair, and I think that's reasonable. Is it? I mean, I think it's like a solo project, right? Because I feel like for a solo project, especially, that's a really interesting angle to take with it. You'll be lucky to get rendered people. Didn't Skylines 2 originally render everyone's teeth? Jesus Christ. Yeah, that's a big mistake. I'm not gonna lie. Solo project hex-based. Yo, let's go hex-based. We love hex-based. Hexes are, well, you know, as the saying goes, courtesy CGP Greg, hexagons are the bestigons. Okay, I should probably write more code, or we could take a Slay the Spire break. No, at this point we're just committed. Okay, how do we want to do this? So I'm realizing like we have some more functionality in Map Spawner 3D that we need to add, because this is great and all. Don't get me wrong. I love this. You know, this is, you know, tasty stuff. We need to store. Do we need to store what's being? Ugh. No, we don't. We don't need to store what's being spawned, because as long as we respond to all the adds and removes and replaces, then we're always going to be good. So what we really need to do is add more tiles to the hierarchy, I guess, right? Which I think is what I was getting at when I wrote tile visual database as a resource. Yep, that's exactly what I was getting at. Okay, so this needs to be broken out into its own class. This is actually probably going to stay. All right. So I guess what this will represent this is probably going to need some refactoring later down the line, I'm realizing. Also, I can't export this, so I need to write this in a format that can be exported. Okay, Jade, I have a question for you. You're I would say between the two of us, probably the resident Godot expert, on account of just you spent a lot more time with the engine, which is awesome, by the way. I love Godot so far. Really loving the experience. I have one complaint with it that I haven't quite figured out how to navigate. So I'm curious if you've run into this yourself. So let me talk about this problem from my current sort of Unity perspective, and maybe you can help fill in the blanks for me. So like I have this tile visual database class, right? And this is going to describe basically a resource that contains like a mapping of these like string tile IDs to let me turn that down just a little bit. It'll contain a mapping of like the tile IDs to their relevant like scene files. Probably. Maybe more than that, probably just that. Now, 99% sure that I cannot write export for a dictionary. Maybe I can. Maybe I'm crazy. How do you get around the fact? I'll get straight to the point. How do you get around the fact that you cannot store custom classes as exports? Like, I know that you can make them into resources, but then that also has... Okay, no, this doesn't compile. I didn't think this would. Like, the Unity solution for this, right, would be to make like a helper class that's like hex scene entry or something. And then I keep adding parentheses there. I don't know why. And then instead of that, you just do public lists of hex scene entry, hex scene entries, and then you'd like write, you know, serialized field on it or whatever. And then all you'd need to do to make this work is make this serializable, system.serializable, right? And then you'd have like your public string ID, and then public. This is not exactly how I'd write it, but like just for the sake of reference. Now, I know in Godot, what you can do is I can mark this as a resource unto itself. And I don't actually hate that for things that are engine based. Like, this is something that is going to interact directly with the engine. And then I could make like a... Oh, what the hell is the thing? Array of hexene entry. This would work. Right. Is there a way to do this without having the class have to inherit from resource? Because like this adds overhead, I'm pretty sure, in the form of like ref counting and stuff under the hood. Which is not the end of the world. And for something like this, it's totally fine, to be honest with you. But like I ran into an issue when I was writing some earlier code. And I came up with a convoluted way around it. But like I have this currency entry class, right? And so this is just like a helper class for me, right? All it does is it stores a type and an amount, right? So like you can have like gold is probably the default currency, but you can also have like lumber or stone or who knows, right? Well, I'm going to figure that out as I go, but I know I want to have resources because of a mechanic that I want to support. However, in order to expose this to the editor, what I did, which I kind of hate, is I made a resource class that mimics it. And then I basically made it so that I could go between them freely with this implicit constructor, whatever, operator. But this is really ugly to me. Because like these currency entries are going to be generated on the fly all the time. And so I'm like, oh God, if I just generate like 1,000 of these resources every frame or something, that's going to be a nightmare for overhead. Because that's something that could actually happen. So TLDR, I realized that was a whole lot of words. Why can't you export the first one? Well, even if I made this a class instead of a record, because Godot doesn't like records, even though there's just classes under the hood. I am losing my mind. Where was I? Tile visual database. So like, I'm pretty sure that even without this being a resource, yeah, like I can't make it a Godot array, which is fine. I don't really care that much. But even if I make it a list, this is going to complain in like 3 seconds. Or maybe it's once I run a build. There we go. Hey, Avier. How's it going? The type of the member is not supported. Godot 102. And if I look at this, thank you for the hydrate. Well, I've been drinking my tea and I don't remember drinking my tea. That's crazy. Streaming is a heck of a thing. Eating and lurking. Hell yeah. Let me give a shout out actually while you're here. Long story, it says it needs to be a variant compatible type, and then it goes on to explain blah blah blah. It either needs to inherit from Godot objects, which is like a resource, which means it's ref counted, or it needs to be a built-in value type or string. So is there a way around this that you're aware of, Jade? Or is this just like not a problem in GDScript or something? Are you still using GDScript? I don't actually know. And no problem, Avier. I don't know. This is just an annoying limitation to me. It's not the end of the world. Because like I said, I don't mind having a way around it because all I have to do is just, now it's a resource. But like this just feels really heavy-handed. You have to inherit from something? Okay. But objects aren't ref counted? Really? Really? I want to believe you. But I feel like that goes against what I've read before. Actually, ref counted as its own thing that inherits from object. Yeah, you're right. But I see that to delete an object instance, call free. Hi, Swara. Objects have to manage themselves. So does that mean that I need to manage the memory when it comes to these? Because that kind of has its own complications. Because that means that, like, if I just generate a bunch of currency entries, I then have to free them, which means that, like, that generates a bunch of... like, that's not the end of the world. It's just, like, a bunch of extra headache. I guess I could use ref counted. But then that seems like it's going to make a bunch of calls to the C++ layer. I don't know. You have to free them. Okay. I mean, that's not the end of the world. I'm just like... I don't know if that's worth it to me. I guess, like, in this case, though, like, this could just inherit from Godot.object. And as long as I'm careful, I guess that's fine. Because, like, realistically, these are going to be just stored in some file somewhere. But, like, I still wouldn't make currency entry inherit from Godot object. For the simple reason that, like, I'm going to be creating and destroying these entries probably a lot. Probably constantly. And as much as that's bad for garbage collection, probably fine. How's the game dev going? It's going pretty good. I mean, I've spent a lot of time just kind of yapping, if I'm honest. But, like, we've made some progress, so. I only use C# for heavy algorithms. There's no performance advantage for normal game logic. Entirely fair. I don't know if you were there when I was talking about the architecture stuff that I want to do with this. Because that's driving some of my design decisions. But also, I'm stubborn. There are things in C# that I really like. And while there are GDScript alternatives for some of them, there aren't for everything. And I'm just like, as much as I could write everything in GDScript and learn GDScript without probably too much issue, I'd rather just write it in C#. But long story short, I want to have a web server eventually. That'll be the thing after I get kind of the core gameplay logic working. That basically can run a sort of snapshot-based, you know, version of the game so that you can just kind of like close the game, reopen it, or have one of your friends connect to the session, and then they just get the up-to-date stuff. The integration is worth it for me. It's just convenient. Totally fair. Totally fair. Like, by integration, I'm assuming you are kind of referring to, among other things, like the ability to like edit them in the editor and the portability of it. Like the fact that like the web-based Godot editor can load GDScript just fine. And that like you get web exports and like there are advantages to GDScript. I'm assuming those are kind of the things that you're referring to. Unless there's like something that like in particular is like the thing that you use GDScript, or the reason you use GDScript. All right. Okay, so where were we? This guy right here. So on add map tile basically should be running whenever we add a tile to the map, including all of the tiles that are there to begin with, which I need to add code for. Mental note. And then TLDR, I need to brain spawn a node probably under our map spawner 3D. I think as a child this is probably fine. And then after I spawn this as a child of the map spawner 3D, I can then I guess I can test to make sure that like there is a child that references the map tile in question. Seems fine, I guess. I feel like I'll regret it if I don't keep a list of all the tiles that I've spawned, even though they're just going to be child objects in Map Spawner 3D. Although I will admit, like, Godot's functionality for, like, get child or get node or whatever, these are really good. I really like these. Okay. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. God, I hate it. But yeah, it's just convenient to be like, God, my mouse is dying. That's not great. Do I have anything I can plug it into that's right here? Oh, kinda. No, it doesn't fit. All right. Public. I guess like a read-only list is fine. I could even go the extra mile and make it an observable read-only list. Read-only observable list. But I kind of feel like I don't want to respond to the tiles being spawned. Do I? Oh God, maybe I do. I guess the amount of overhead that's involved with that is so minimal. And the amount of extensibility I gain from that is so tasty. Yeah, okay, we're just doing it. We're just doing it. Read only observable collection of I guess we need a class for this. I guess I could just make it a read-only collection of Node 3Ds right now. Because if I just made it Node 3Ds like that, I know it'll work for sure. But we definitely are gonna need a node class that like describes a tile visual. Let's just not, like, we're gonna have to do it anyways. Public class tile visual 3D partial class. Ah! Tile visual 3D node 3D. Describes the visuals associated with a 3D tile. All right. I guess this is fine. I'm like, do I want to break this out into an interface as well? I don't think I care. Tile visual 3D, no 3D. Okay. We are shunting you off to your own C# class. Thank you. And now we can make tile visual 3D. Okay. All right. Spawned tiles. Get. Actually, this is just going to refer to a private observable collection of tile visual 3Ds called spawns tiles. Whoa, caps lock. Hello. I guess this just can just exist forever. And then we just want to go ahead and refer to spawned tiles. Great. This should be I read only observable collection. Right? Hello? Am I crazy? I'm crazy, chat. I read only observable list? Do I want to make this an observable list then? Is that a thing? Oh. Neat. Okay. Whatever. Great. Cool. I think we're good to start writing tests for this now. Because now we can test against spawn tiles. And we can also make sure that the spawn tiles parent is the map spawner 3D. I think for now, that's what I want to do. There's some arguments we made for like not doing it that way. But like right now, that's where I'm at. So. Okay. Privates. Map spawner 3D. Spawner equals new. And then setup, we're just gonna set spawner equal to new again. And then I guess we can just call spawner.initialize with map. That's probably fine. Let's also make another test case. Public void. Map. Map. Visuals spawn after initialize. Basically what I want to test for with this is like, can I make sure that it's actually spawning all the tiles that already exist in the map? Because I feel like that's actually really useful, right? So if I do that. Okay, let's go ahead and make a new map. And we're gonna pass in, I guess like, really we just need like a couple of tiles just to make sure. So can I do it like this? Oh my God, I can do it like this. That's so cool. Okay, no, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. Okay, we're gonna add a hex at 0, 0. And God, I really need to make that constructor that just takes a position. Oh my God. New hex 0, 1. Which is to say 0, 1, -1 because of how hex coordinates work. I'm so smart. Haha, wow. Jesus Christ. Anyways. Now I'm going to call spawner.initialize. Actually, let me just set spawner equals to new map spawner 3D. And then I will assert that spawner dot spawned tiles dot count dot is equal to oh yeah, that's right. I just remembered something. I need to call add node. Otherwise it won't manage it for me. I don't like this, but unfortunately, whoa, how did I do that? Okay, you learned a new shortcut. It's control \. That's really useful. Anyways. And now it's going to complain, so I just need to add the nullable thing, and then it's going to be like, oh, but now you can't do that, idiot. And then I'm going to be like, well, screw you. I'm actually questioning if I want to do it like this. I guess this is fine. And then I can just add node spawner. Okay. Is equal to spawner dot child. Is there like a get child count? Yeah. Great. Dot is equal 0. Okay, and then we're probably gonna end up copy pasting this line like a million times, and by that I mean like 3 or 4. Now, for the business. Now, let's do spawner dot initialize with map. And now, ideally, this should be the same thing, but should also equal map dot all tiles dot count, which is to say 2. This should fail right now. If I run this test, I'm fully expecting this to fail, which is good because we need to add all the logic for this. I think we can just finish filling out these test cases because they're not going to be super complicated. Great. It fails. This succeeds, which is actually kind of neat. Okay, next up. Map adds visual. So, okay, so this should be fine. I'm just like thinking about memory management. I'm like, is this gonna work? But yeah, the spawner is gonna get destroyed by the auto free that is associated with add node. Blah, blah, blah. We're good. All right, map adds visual. So in this case, I'm just gonna use the default setup that I have here. So I'm gonna do goodbye. Bye, Jay. Thanks for hanging out. Map.add tile. And we will add a new map tile. Good luck, have fun. GLHF, Jade. GLHF. And you too. I need to see more, like, do you post about your game projects anywhere, like on Twitter or Blue Sky? Just reminding myself I need to like check your feed. All right. Okay. So let me like assert just that we're in a valid situation here. I guess this should God, I don't want to make this nullable. I don't want to make this nullable. Maybe more often soon now that I'm not doing any commission stuff on Blue Sky. Baller. Okay. I'll check that out later. We should catch up. Anyways. Have a good night, Jade. I hate putting this as null, but like, ah. Can I just like, I'm just gonna cheat, chat. Does this work? No, it doesn't work. That's not how that works at all. I think this works. Great. I think. I don't know. I'm still learning how this nullable reference type stuff works, so you get to learn alongside me, chat. All right. Anyways, we've added a tile to the map, and now we can call this. What the heck? No! Oh my god, just... It's not gonna be null, though. Can I just disable? Oh, just fine. I know it's not gonna be null because of this. Because of the way this works. This is going to assign it to something. What happens if I just like... Nope. Okay, all right. New plan. Suppress. God damn it, I don't remember the syntax. Ah! Pragma. Warning. Disable. Pragma. Warning. Restore. I think it's restore. Is it restore or enable? Yeah, it's restore. Okay. What is the warning on it? CS8625? Okay, great. Thanks. CS8265. I just like reverse the number. Okay. Thank you. Please just work. I'm begging you. I don't want to have to think about it. Ah. Great. Great chat. We're the best. Okay. Moving right along. I actually don't even really care if the tests have a null reference exception. If the tests have a null reference exception, that's fine. That means I wrote the test wrong. And since the tests are kind of deterministic, I'm almost tempted to put all of these onto a separate project where I don't have nullable tests enabled because I don't care. But we're not doing that tonight. Probably gonna do that soon though. I might probably off stream. Anyways, oh blah 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 blah. Slowly losing my mind, chat, as is the case. Okay. What I need to do too is assert that spawner dot spawn tiles dot contains spawns no, thank you. Spawns dot map. I'm gonna have to define this. Map tile equals this guy. Not function, you son of a gun. Map tile equals map tile. And then what I need to do is add a property. Why is that not working? Ah! Any, I guess, is fine. Okay, now it'll work. And now I can generate a property. Boop. Bop. Okay. Getting somewhere. We need a default constructor. Cool beans. And then we also need a constructor that takes in a map tile. I guess this should be a nullable. I don't like it, but it's fine. Okay, and then map tile equals null, and then otherwise map tile equals map tile. Ah! No using system, thank you. The only other thing that, like, I have this issue, like, how do I phrase this? I might have talked about this earlier on stream when I was talking about nullable reference types to begin with, but I don't know how to integrate these cleanly in this kind of environment, because there's a lot of things that are like managed by engine code. And so like here in this example, I don't actually want to have a default constructor at all, and I'm not really sure if I can get away with that because Godot was probably gonna complain, right? Godot, no defaults constructor. C#. Is this allowed? No. Every C# class that inherits from a Godot object must have a public parameterless constructor. So in this case, right, map tile would then be null. And that's just how it goes, right? This song sounds familiar. Oh, it's a Muzzy song. Okay. Neat. So, as a result, sorry, I was just like sitting up in my trailer chat. It's awkward because like I know that this shouldn't be ever null, but I guess it's better to just force it to be this. And then I can just have like an initialized Boolean or something that determines like if this is null. And I found out that there's this really cool thing you can do with nullable reference types. If I can remember where I put it. Oh no. Oh no. I think it was like, was it building button? Oh, I really need to reorganize. This is killing me. Okay. Purchase button. There's this really cool thing you can do where you can basically tell the compile. What did I just do? Okay. Anyways, you can tell the compiler if I call this function and it returns true, then these things are not null. And so then when I call things on these bits of info and I have already called initialized, the compiler is smart enough to have flagged these things as already like checked for null, which is so cool. Like to me, I realize this is really basic, but I love this kind of thing. So, where were we? So like tile visual, that's where we were. I guess I could do the same thing here. I could just do like a public bool initialized. Thing too is like, I think these tile visual 3Ds are going to be present in a packed scene, like aka like a prefab in Unity terms in the project. And with them there, their initialized should be false because they don't exist in the scene. There's probably also like a Godot thing that I could call. It's like to verify that they're in the scene, but for now, I'm just gonna do map tile not null. And then I'll just do, was it member not null when true. And then I just need to pass in name of map tile. It just occurred to me I screwed this up on the other thing that I wrote. because I could just use name of. Sometimes, chat, you're like doing 2 new things at once and you forget to do the things that you already know how to do. These should be name of. Use name of. Use name of. Okay, back to it. Not the bangerest song, but it's not bad. I don't mind it. It's pretty good. It's catchy. All right. I don't really think we need a whole lot of logic here yet. This class is probably going to have a crap ton of logic when we're done with it. And I think it's also going to be basically like this sort of controller object that'll control the visuals that go underneath it. That's going to be a hell of a task. We're not there yet. For now, let's focus back in on the map spawner 3D tests. So we have this map tile equals map tile. Great. Now what? We need to add a new map tile, I guess. Second equals new map tile 0, 1. Oh my god. Ah, okay. And this, I don't know how I feel about this syntax. This is actually starting to get harder to read. I haven't decided yet. Anyways, map, add tile, second. And then we want to go ahead and do the thing. Except this time we're going to use second. I think this is a good enough test for now. So like the first test should spawn the thing. The second test should spawn another thing. And then we verify that like we're still equal to count, which should now be 2 instead of 1. Yep. Yep. Okay. Run all tests. Computer, test my code. Yay, it fails. All right. Pog. All right, let's go ahead and do the removal test as well. So we're gonna make a couple of things here. We're gonna add them to the map. Actually, we don't even need to do this. We can just set a map, a new map equals 2 thing. I kind of am debating internally. I feel like most of my initialized methods, if they're already initialized, should throw an exception. Yeah, no, I can't. I have to do it, chat. I'm sorry. Which means I have to write another test for it. Public void can't initialize twice. Test case require go to runtime. Spawner dot initialize new map. New. What is it? I just it doesn't matter what I initialize it with. Let me just initialize it with map again. And then this I need to do assert thrown. This should be an invalid operation exception. No. That's not where that goes. Okay. Run spawner initialize again. Dot is instance of invalid operation exception. Great. This should fail because I haven't implemented any logic. And then once that fails, I will go ahead and implement it, which is to say if map not equal null, throw new invalid operation exception. Great. And then we'll just run this test in particular again. I kind of feel like I should do this with all my initializes, but I don't feel like going back and updating all of them on stream right now, so we will not be doing that. But, you know, just picture that I did it in your head. All right. Now, let us go back to Map Spawner 3D. You should ask an LM to delete all your semicolons as a meme. Jesus Christ. I'm good, but I appreciate it. Oh, man. I don't really like agentic stuff. I don't trust it. I just do not trust it. Yeah, food for thought. Anyways. So this is still going to fail, of course. Let's go ahead and do a on map add tile. And we will just do a... I guess we'll do a few things, really. Thinking. So... First and foremost, we need another parameter here. Tile visual database. And you really should just let me refactor. Damn it. Okay, I'll do it the hard way. I feel like there is a way to convince it to refactor for me. Nope. Okay. Okay. Private tile visual database. You know what? I don't care. That's fine. Tile visual database equals new. No. Oh, I'm getting tired, chat. Uh-oh. Let me also... I should probably test this too. But if map equals... no. If map equals null, throw new arguments exception. Okay. Or tile visual database equals null. And then we also should test for this, I guess. God, okay. You know what? We're just YOLO. Initialize doesn't requires non-null. Okay, this is, we're getting into the kind of the weeds here, but like this is a valid test, unfortunately. So, initialize null. God, is this a resource? I guess I'll just introduce. Oh, my mouse is dying. Ah! Well, that's awkward. I can try something, but it's probably not gonna work. Oh my God, it worked. Oh, it's really bad though. I will refrain from. Okay, no. So listen, I have a keyboard. Shocker. Do you know that computers frequently have keyboards? My keyboard has this nice like it's like one of the old-fashioned phone cords where it's like coiled, but it's not been working for me lately, and now it's working. Did I restart my computer? Whatever, never mind. False alarm, chat. I had my keyboard plugged into my mouse cable because my mouse can be wireless, and the keyboard's cable wasn't working, but now it is. I must have changed something about my setup and not realized it. When Rory came over, she like refactored parts of my setup. So, meh. Let me just like do a try finally. Ooh, what is oh god. Command palette. Surround with try F. Ooh. Finally, destroy. What is the Godot.free dot gd.free dot q do I just call tile visual database dot free? Tile visual database equals null. Nice. Okay. I'm gonna finish these tests here, chat, and then I'll wrap up for the night. Okay. Private tile visual database. Except this is also a managed resource. I don't know everything about Godot, and that is cool because it means I get to learn new things. But also, I kind of feel like I don't know. I sort of feel like there are things where I'm like not quite sure how Godot's handling things under the hood, and like where I need to manage objects, where I don't need to manage objects. Like here, I'm like, do I need to call this dot free in my teardown now? Right? Like I don't know. Do I? Maybe. Buh. All right, anyways. Oh, wait a second. I'm a genius, chat. I don't need to check if they're null because I'm using nullable reference types. If they're null, I'll get a warning. Because these are not nullable, so they shouldn't be null. I'm so smart, chat. And by smart, I mean tired. Oh my lord. So this is dumb. This can just go away. I don't need a test for that. This, however, does need to initialize with tile visual database. I also feel like tile visual database should probably load like a default thing. It's kind of annoying. Tile visual database equals new tile visual database. I guess for the purposes of testing, this really should have a constructor which takes in an enumerable of hex scene entries. And this is actually not really public. Does export need to be placed on public variables? They can have any access modifier. Okay. This really should be private. I don't want anybody touching this shit. And then what I really want to do is public dictionary of string to hex scene entry. No, to packed scene. Hex scenes. This just needs to have a getter. And then I'm going to make a private dictionary of the same type. I guess I could have just gone like this, or what is it? This? No. This. Noting to self. I need to like remember my keyboard shortcuts. Hex scenes equals null. I guess technically this needs to be. Why is this exploding? Explain. Explain. Godot collections? Why is there... Wait. 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 Do I not need to do any of this? Hold your goddamn... Hold your horses here, chat. And by that I mean me. And I just hit print screen for no reason. Kill that. You can also go away. This just needs to be a dictionary? But like a Godot dictionary of string to packed scene. Holy crap, I think that actually works. Oh, that's so cool. So there is a built-in dictionary type. Well, then this should just be public. Can I put it on properties? I sure as heck can. Oh my god, Godot is so good. It's so good. Not equals mu. Equals mu. Okay. God, radical. Beautiful. I still kind of feel like I need a constructor. No, this should just private, unfortunately. Sorry, chat. I mean, like, I got a little excited there. I am a big fan of making things really goddamn explicit because otherwise I'll be tempted to break the rules later. So, read only dictionary of string to packed stuff scene. Data, we'll just call it data. And then we will point this to hex scene entries data. Please work, I'm begging you, please. Ah! Oh wait, I read only dictionary. Get out of here. Yes! Beautiful, chat. Oh my god, I'm so happy. Okay, this can go away now. I don't need any of that shit. That's cool. Now, we also still need a constructor. Yup. And then we need another constructor that takes in... I guess we'll just take in a dictionary. Like... This is really just for testing, unfortunately. So, like, I don't really know how fancy I should get with this. Probably not very fancy. Equals hex scene entry data. Ah, okay. Wow. That's cool. All right, anyways. Back to our tests. This needs to take in a new dictionary. And then we'll just pass in... God, that's ugly as hell. We want to pass in... Can I just simplify this? I sure as heck can. All right, I want to pass in grass, because that's our default. Actually, better yet, I will pass in map tile.default tile name. And I will pass in new pack scene. Man, that's ugly. It doesn't like it either. Oh, that's why. Nope, it's not why. You know what, chat? As much as I want to finish this before we end stream, I feel like we made some decent progress today. Oh, there's an ad break. Ugh. This kills the fizzy. Well, thank you everybody for hanging out. I think we're gonna get out of here though. But let's go find somebody to raid. This has been super fun. And I will be doing this again. I guarantee it. I am also planning to stream. There's a Beyblade roguelike coming out on the 20th, which I am very excited for. So, probably expect me to stream that. I mean, like, okay, maybe not very, but I'm like, I am excited for it. Okay. Thank you, War. Thank you, everybody. Game's great. Game's great. Why did I say game's great? That's like a default thing for me. I feel like at the end of stream, we have not been playing a game, chat. This is not a game. You think this is a game? I mean, it will be a game eventually. Anyways, let's raid over to. I'm gonna be honest with you, chat. We're just raiding Murray. I just have to rate it. I have to do it quick or she's gonna catch on. Okay, good night, everybody. Socials, Discord, join if you like, follow me if you like. Good night, Avier. I haven't listed my Blue Sky and my thing, but it's also, I think, Fizzy VT, probably, maybe. Yeah. We'll be back. I don't know when we'll be back. Maybe this weekend, maybe not. Otherwise, maybe Monday, maybe Tuesday. I don't know yet. But know that I will be back. And I don't know if we're gonna do game dev next stream, but if we are, look forward to seeing what progress I make over the weekend, because I am hoping to make a goodly amount of progress. I kind of had things on hold with Rory here because I wanted to kind of take a nice break and a nice vacation. And now I want to get back into the swing of it because I want to get this thing done. Anyways, have a great night, everyone, and see you next time. Probably pretty soon. Und good night, YouTube.